Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche pregame show, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds every single day. Avs back from the All-Star break, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Also, Joe Sakic having his mid-season availability. As we speak, it's winding down. Nothing too unexpected coming out of the Joe Sakic presser. Pretty much what you would expect. They say they hope to see Byram back this year, so that's encouraging. They haven't really ruled anything out as far as the trade deadline goes, but it's not going to be easy for them to make stuff work. So nothing too complicated there, AJ.
More or less what we've talked about, that if they're going to make a deal at the deadline, and if it's going to involve any kind of meaningful money has to go the other way. So, yeah, so money in, money out. Is retention will probably have to happen because Claude Giroux makes a lot of money. Did not rule out trading the 2023 first round selection. So
if
that would
the right
give them
thing comes along. Yeah,
that would give them 2 years in a row without a first. So I mean, you're talking. If you're going to do it, you have to feel confident that it's going to bring you a big return.
Better make it count for sure.
It's got to be, that's got to be a big thing that comes your way. So I think, we've talked about it like, hey, they've got enough financial flexibility in the offseason to make big decisions.
Definitely.
They won't be able to just run it back. But they'll be able to pretty comfortably make the decisions that they would like to make, and I think that the update from Sakic, that's a pretty standard presser for him.
Nothing too special
this time of year, where it's, hey, we'd love to see, we'd love to see we'd love to see what's on the market and what can help us and what we're able to actually get done and find a price point on a player or players that they're comfortable with. So really, boilerplate stuff here.
Look, every hockey team's trying to get better, right? It's par for the course stuff there. Pretty positive outlook on the whole, obviously, from Joe on a team that has played incredibly well. So.
Yeah, and, if you're parsing the tea leaves there, maybe the most encouraging part of that presser was what he said about Bowen Byram, that,
agreed.
Hey, he's progressing.
Yep. They're giving him all the time he needs, but they do hope he will be back.
Yeah, so. And of course you're hopeful, right? You're saying, hey, there's 2 full months left of this thing.
Yep.
That they've got a lot of hockey games to play.
Yep, that nearly half the season still left.
Right. So it's he's progressing. They're going to give him the space that he needs to decide really on his own timeline. The Avalanche are there to provide whatever resources, whatever assistance he asks for and looks for and needs.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's really his call when he comes back. So
that is where it is still on that one for sure.
And look, they would love to have clarity on Byram before the deadline, because that makes their Byram or their deadline decision a lot easier, because Byram is an impact guy for them. He changes their whole defense. Having a true top 4 where you're only trying to shelter one pairing instead of trying to figure out which of your bottom 3 guys, which one is playing the best that night and trying to work him into it a little bit more. Because we've seen Jack Johnson on the rise a little bit lately, Eric Johnson on the decline a little bit, and it's going to continue to be that up and down. And
for sure,
you're always an injury away from Curtis McDermott playing for you in the playoffs on defense.
Yep.
So you're talking about a really important domino for them.
Yeah, it certainly. The hope is that they have a good idea with Byram before the trade deadline, so they understand what they should be targeting.
Yeah.
If they think Byram's done for the year, they should probably be looking at some defense.
It changes. When I was talking about Luke Shen, that Luke Shen changes to Mark Giordano or John
Calvin
Klingberg
DeHaan, whatever,
I think Calvin DeHaan should be on that list anyway.
I don't disagree with that.
Just because of there's some versatility there that he really does a lot of things. It's kind of a quiet, when he's healthy, he kind of rules.
A conversation for a different show.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
So besides the Joe Sakic stuff, the Avs are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. No Nathan MacKinnon still. Mikko Rantanen will be centering that top line, as we've seen the Avs trend towards doing most of the time this year. So
really just kind of keeps your lineup
you don't move anything else around too
intact,
much.
Yeah.
So
the interesting part is the new hook next to
up on
the left wing every
Yep.
once in a while where
Yep.
they move him around, and Nichushkin is on that top line, and
Yep.
it's like, okay, that's interesting.
It is. It's been just fine for the Avs so far in the games that Mac has missed, so nothing too much to really complain about there. On the other side, you have Tampa Bay. Are they even the best team in Florida this year?
Debatable for the first time.
Yeah, right?
Since 1996.
It's not felt as clear-cut for a team that has won 2 Stanley Cups in a row.
Yeah, and like suffered their losses, right? Like
Yep.
they went hard after the cup. And they are a great example of kind of what I've talked about a team that goes all in. But as long as you still have your star caliber guys to drive the bus for you,
Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, okay, well, Tampa Bay lost, they invested first round picks into Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow. Those guys are gone.
Savard, too.
They invested a first round pick in David Savard. That guy's gone. They gave other pieces for guys like Jan Ruda, and they did a top 10 pick for top 10 pick swap with Drouin and Sergachev.
Watched Yanni Gord go in the expansion draft.
Right, they lose Yanni Gord totally for free in expansion. So you're talking about they've lost so much, but they are where they are because their best players continue to be stars.
Kucherov's still a monster. Vasilevsky's still in net for them.
Exactly. Victor Hedman is having the major bounce back season after a down year last year.
Yep.
He's right back at the top of the North conversation with Makar and Fox in the gang.
It's wild.
You've still got a really good Steven Stamkos. Braden Point is still really good.
Yep.
Kucherov, as you mentioned, is still great. You have Andre Palat still hanging out. Anthony Cirelli, the team is still loaded, and you still have one true blue superstar on each level.
Yep.
And that's just goes to show your stars do this.
You're always going to be a contender when you have that. Yeah.
There are teams out there, like Minnesota, that are overplaying the talent level that they have overall, that are getting top line production out of Ryan Hartman.
Yeah.
That's those guys always have. Where are they going to be in the postseason though?
Yeah.
Every year one team kind of makes a run that you don't expect. You never really see that one coming.
But who's it going to be?
I don't know. We don't know who it is this year, but you also see there's usually two or three teams that make deep runs that you saw coming.
Yeah.
Where you were like, yeah, all right, that makes pretty good sense.
They're a good hockey team.
Yeah, okay, I could have seen that one coming. That's not a huge shock. And Tampa Bay is just they're still so good.
Yep.
And you see how much they lost, and you see how good they still are, and it's like
they were almost cheating before.
A true appreciation for just how
stacked,
unbelievably good they have been in the last couple of years, and they've done a great job reloading with younger guys. Matthew Joseph and Ross Colton are
stepped up
good
for
players.
Sure. Yeah.
We were joking about who the hell is Ross Colton last in the
everybody knows now
Cup Finals last year. Yeah, we were joking around about it, and now it's like, well,
okay. Tampa picked him, so he must be good.
Yeah, well, and now he's a everyday part of their lineup. He's a good player. So that's an organization just knows how to operate.
$2 from Pin King here. Seeing rumors Mac back on Sunday. Thank you for the super chat. Not official, but they said there's a chance he could be available for Dallas on Sunday.
Is the expectation.
Yeah.
So I think they're just being super careful again.
Yep. They have no reason to rush anybody right now.
They're really not in any kind of pressure.
Yep.
It doesn't mean, hey, go ahead and give away a handful of games so that you could feel that pressure
definitely,
again.
But this is a team that has a 9-point gap on Vegas.
Yeah, they don't have to have that sense of urgency about trying to get guys back in. Have to play. especially when you're 10-2-1 without the guy in the lineup. Like,
Yeah, you do okay.
yeah, like, not to say that you don't want him back or whatever, just to say that, hey, this isn't an emergency.
They're 10-2-1 without him, and they're like 28-3-4 or something in the lineup.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good either way.
Yeah, you cut out the first month, and it's like, yeah,
it's ridiculous. So on that side of it, it is what it is. Back-to-back champs. It's happened a couple times in the last 2 decades in hockey. Have not had a 3-time repeat champ in the league since the 80s with your Isles and the Oilers of the time.
They had like back-to-back dynasties.
Yeah.
Like a 10-year span where it was like 4 Isles, 4 Oilers.
Yeah.
Is there room for anybody else in this league?
Oh, those are only 2 teams that mattered for a minute there. But I don't think it's unrealistic to say, oh, Tampa's can do it. They can win this year because any year anybody can win.
Yeah.
But can they match Chicago? Can they get to the 3-5 that Chicago did?
Boy, I think it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Just because you are seeing Stamkos get up there a little bit and slow down. He's still great, right?
Hedman isn't the youngest anymore either.
You're talking about Steven Stamkos, 35-goal guy.
Instead of 50-goal guy.
50-goal guy. And so that, Braden Point has battled being human for the first time in his life, as well as some injuries and things this year. Like there have been some roadblocks for Tampa Bay this year.
Yep.
But really, it comes down to is Andrei Vasilevsky going to get outplayed in a 7-game series?
Hard to bet against that dude.
And as long as that question continues to be no, you feel really, really good about their chances.
Yep.
If you can get a 7-game series where it doesn't, whichever goalie outplays him, you have to win that series. You cannot. You cannot lose that series.
If you out goalie Tampa and you lose, that's such a huge opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
You have to capitalize on something like that. So Tampa, as we kind of have already said, to sum it up, they're still a really, really good team, even if they're not superhuman like they were.
And I think right now you look at the NHL landscape and you say that there are 5 teams that are really above the rest, and Tampa Bay and Colorado are 2 of them.
Both of them are in there for sure. With Carolina, Florida. I don't know. Who'd you have at 5?
I still have a asterisk, but a healthy Vegas.
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, a healthy
with a good to go Jack Eichel. Certainly,
right? Like I'm totally assuming that they circumvent the cap and they do whatever gymnastics they have to not have
Mark
major
Stone's
losses.
Achy back is really acting up.
Yeah, and like they let him sit for the next couple of months, and then they go full bore. This version of Vegas with no salary cap is the one that I would still have.
April 30th, 2022, Vegas.
Yeah, the May 1st version. Yeah. When they switch salary cap to off.
Yeah.
And Vegas just activates 7 guys, and you're like, oh boy.
Here we go.
Sucks that they finished 3rd in their division.
That poor second place.
Yeah, right. Especially in that division. It's going to be like the Kings or some shit. And it's like,
they're just looking at that like, oh, shit.
This is not going to go well. Yeah. So I think Carolina, Colorado, Tampa Bay, Florida, and the stacked version of Vegas are the ones that
really ones to watch.
At. Yeah.
Okay.
For right now, obviously,
things change, of course.
The whole trade deadline and a bunch of injuries to come that will change that landscape.
Definitely. For the Avs tonight, Nazem Kadri could tie his career high in points with a single point tonight. It's game 45.
Honestly, just do it. Man. Just 2 or 3 of them. Just blow right past it. But
move on.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
I don't even want to talk about it ever again. Just blow right past it.
He's coming off of his All-Star break where he got to go to the game. Seemed like he had a pretty good time there.
He might have had more fun at the All-Star game than anybody has had at an All-Star game in recent history.
He seemed the happiest to be there for sure.
I think he's probably the guy who had the most fun in Vegas since Ovi and the Caps won that Stanley Cup.
Well, Ovi can't remember that, so it doesn't count. So it's fine. But yeah, Kadri continues to be. I mean, let's be real. If you break down the first 44 games of the season, Kadri has been more important to this offense than MacKinnon has.
Yeah, I mean, we all had him as their MVP.
Yep.
At the halfway mark, and after the year that he had and just his career and who all these guys are, you would have had him solidly fourth amongst Colorado's forwards, maybe sixth or seventh as most important guys coming into the season.
For sure.
Behind even Makar and Taves.
Yep.
And then for him to have stepped up the way that he has, he's huge. And look, they're getting away with this, like Mikko Rantanen at center.
Because they can.
Like, they're getting away with it, and it gives them the ability to kind of keep rolling out Kadri in advantageous ways. And I'm here for it. I'm excited. I want to see how he does. By second half Nazem Kadri, I think I'm still fully expecting there to be some sort of a drop off.
If he stays on 120-point pace, come on.
I expect it'll drop to like who I am. I'm expecting it to be like 30 points in 40 games. That kind of thing.
If he's even flirting with 100, I'll be super happy. Like,
oh yeah, totally. I mean, him sitting in the 60s right now. I mean, the longer he hangs in the top 10 of these scoring race. It just means things are continuing to go right. Colorado's still winning most games.
Yeah, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
right
and I think he's really that linchpin because you do look at the other guys. Hey, Mikko's having another great year. Gabe Landeskog. I keep saying this, but and I guess it's not true. I can't keep saying nobody's talking about it if I say it every day.
You keep talking about it,
but. Gabe Landeskog is on pace for a 100-point season.
I mean, that's the impressive part about this hockey team is so is Mikko Rantanen, a guy who we actively like. The dude is not even trying.
Yeah.
And he gets 2 points every night.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they're getting production from just about everywhere in their top six. Even Burakovsky and Nichushkin are producing at perfectly acceptable rates.
Yeah, I mean, right now Burakovsky's rate of production would have him leading a couple of teams in scoring and would be low first liner production if he were to keep up that kind of pace.
So,
like, guys, and sometimes guys do, sometimes guys don't. We talk about pace a lot just because it's context. Like, hey, he's got X number of points in X number of games. That's what this would mean across a full season.
Yep.
And now that we're halfway through the year, it's no longer like
start taking those numbers a bit more seriously.
The guy had a good month, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like the Gabe Landeskog has had the greatest 40 games of his career. And because the team has been so good and so dominant, it gets totally lost in that shuffle that he's just like casually staring down the barrel of almost a 40-goal season and 100 points, where you're just like, would you have ever expected those kind of numbers from Gabe Landeskog?
Nope.
So when he had that 30-goal season and was a point per game a couple of years ago, it was like that's probably the high water mark there. That's still the goal to beat, but he's been so good and so consistent and so special for them. That even with the injuries to Nathan MacKinnon, because I mean, this is their 14th game this season that they will have played without MacKinnon.
Yep,
and they're just rolling, and it's because those other guys find ways. And I think when Sakic talked in his presser about what he loves the most about this team is that they're just finding different ways to win games. I joked and said, "Oh, podcast listener Joe, at it again," because it's one of the main points that we have driven home this season is that they're in so many different kinds of games and they just keep finding ways to win. That's got to keep up. Their schedule the next couple of weeks is not easy.
It is Dallas twice, Vegas,
right?
On the back-to-back.
You have road games in Dallas, 2 games in Vegas on the second half of Sega Babas each time.
Yep.
You do get at Buffalo, but you also have to go to Boston.
Yep.
You have some, in Detroit. Detroit is at least respectable, right? Losing to Detroit is no longer like Jesus Christ.
Say whatever you want. There's always something a little bit extra when Colorado plays Detroit.
Yeah, especially in Detroit.
Yeah.
Little Caesars Arena.
The Pizza Palace.
Yeah, they play in a pizza box, man.
Okay. Kale, did Blaze send in his bets, or are we free balling? We're free balling. All right. So
wow. Oh, happy birthday to his youngest.
to baby Blaze. I don't know his baby's name.
I don't. I mean, he's 4, so
he's not even really a baby.
You're like me, where I refer to all dogs as puppies.
Oh, I do that too.
Yeah.
The 18-year-old dog is puppy.
And people are like, that's not a puppy, that's a dog. And I'm like,
they're all puppies.
They're all puppies.
They're all puppies.
I just want to cut off. Like if you're under 10, you're a baby.
I'm here for this take. Absolutely here for this take. All right. Well, to get Blaze's auto lock bet in, Kale McCarr power play point plus 130 tonight.
Dude, are they ever gonna learn?
Go get your free money on that one.
My God.
You also have Nazem Kadri at plus 150 for 1.5 points or more.
I have some bets from bets today I can give out.
That's a
if you're a believer in him getting the career high.
Yeah, I mean, that's just trying to bet on anybody to have a 2-point game is kind of
except for Miko.
That's kind of a big thing. I say that and I'm like, I am feeling a Miko night.
All right.
I like it. What's Betts got for us?
We got the Avs in 60-minute line at plus 140. RK loves it.
You
get plus money.
Avs in regulation? Yeah, I'm good
The
with
regulation lines are how you can get creative on trying to get money with a team that everyone favors every single night.
Yeah.
So.
Kadri over 3.5 shots. You get plus money on that. Love that.
Yeah, plus 110 for that. 3.5 is a lot.
Berkey over 1.5 shots.
If he hits
we
the
like
net.
It. It's not bad. It's not great.
The thing with that one is that you're betting on him finally breaking out, and it's like it's been a while, so you're like, it's coming.
It'll happen, but
you're just trying to get the game where it does.
Yep.
Dre gave us the under because of the goaltenders, which we like.
I hate betting unders, just on principle.
So I will not agree on the under, simply because that's the first game back off the big break, and I think that's counterintuitive because these are two teams that absolutely punish mistakes.
Yep.
And so I think it's going to be a sloppier game puck management wise. We're not going to see either team at the top of their game.
Agreed.
And so I think there's going to be a lot of sloppiness, and I think I think we're in for a 5-3
score it out type night.
Yeah, 5-3, 5-4 kind of night.
All right.
And then they were hitting home that Cale Makar power play point.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's every night.
It's the best bet on DraftKings. Genuinely, the best bet.
Definitely.
So go hit that one for sure. Get your bets in over at DraftKings. We're about 10 minutes from puck drop here.
Great.
So.
That means we have a few minutes.
Yep.
Tuukka Rask retired.
Yeah.
I know that it was in a
weird limbo
Bruin
already. Yeah.
And so and the Avs weren't really ever competitive, so they didn't ever really have an exposure to Tuukka Rask. But just as a general hockey fan over the last,
decade,
through his career is what I'm saying.
15 years.
Like Hall of Famer?
Without looking at his stats, I think he gets in.
Okay.
If I went and looked, I feel pretty good about what I would find, but I don't know for sure.
Though I think the hard part will be the international success.
Yeah.
Because he's Finnish. And so it's like you're battling, right?
Yep.
Like
yeah.
You're battling for every medal.
Well, and you see
is a war, and then he misses multiple Olympic cycles.
Well, and multiple Olympic cycles when Finland was on the way
right.
up.
When Finland was like
yeah,
like their young guys had all started to mature.
Yep.
And looked like it was, oh my gosh, this Finnish team.
Yeah. But
so yeah, I'm lost. Rask lost 2 cup finals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was tweeting about it yesterday that I think if you put his career next to Fleury's blindly, and you take away the team accomplishments,
they're pretty damn similar. Yeah.
And somebody actually sent it to me, just the blind numbers, and Tuukka Rask smoked Marc-Andre Fleury's career.
Yep.
Smoked him.
Let's see. Let's take a quick look here.
So
what his actual career numbers are.
And they each won 1 Vezina.
Yep. All right. Career numbers. 564 games. Broke the 300 win mark. 2.28 goals against. .921 save percentage.
Yeah, that's where, and the wins is where Fleury is like king shit.
Yeah, because he backstopped a Pittsburgh
Well,
team
and
that
like
won 50 games every
rolled
year.
into the league at 19
Yep.
and like has been relatively healthy and played for all those Pittsburgh teams that were so good, and then transitioned right into that great Vegas era.
Yep. It's pretty good. Let me see his career playoffs. Let's see. Playoffs, over 100 playoff games, 57 wins, 2.22 goals against, 925 in the playoffs.
Man, that's impressive.
Yeah, 7 playoff shutouts. I think he gets in. Probably not first ballot or anything crazy, but
I don't even really like pay attention to Hall.
Yeah,
It's so funny when
you're
a guy
either in or you're not.
when a
right?
guy
Like,
retires, that we're always like, so he's gonna get into the Hall of Fame, and then like the Hall of Fame class rolls around every year, and you're like, oh yeah, huh.
right? Those
That-
guys.
yeah. Whereas like the NFL and baseball, like their Hall of Fame votes
It's a big deal.
like big
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah.
Hockey and basketballs are kind of like, yeah, cool. I would totally love to go to each of those and wander through them and
Yeah.
appreciate the history.
For sure.
But I just don't view their induction in the same light.
It's definitely not built up nearly as much. That's for sure.
Yeah. I always had such an appreciation for Rask. He was always so good. And I've always maintained the Vezina he won was the year that Varley
Should
got
have
second.
won it. Yeah.
And I've always maintained the reason that Rask won and Varley didn't was the shutouts. Because it was like 8-2 in shutouts.
Yep.
And that was the year Varley, I think, lost 3 or 4 shutouts in the last 2 minutes of games, where the Avs were winning the game and then they gave up a garbage
nothing,
goal and it took away the shutout. And that was the difference. I will forever die on that hill.
52 career shutouts for Rask.
It's a lot, man.
That's like a sixth of his wins. were
Yeah, I mean
shutouts.
you're humming along. You're talking about what? That's like 6 to 8 a year. Like
Yep.
that's solid, man.
pretty locked in there. So, congratulations to Tuukka Rask on a wonderful career.
I always just had a soft spot for him. So
Yeah.
I thought his retirement was kind of I was bummed about it.
That's gonna be me when Jumbo finally retires. Like,
I have really enjoyed his career.
I always
Just
loved
the
him.
appreciation.
He was so easy for me to gravitate towards because he's really similar to everything I loved about Peter Forsberg. So,
I've tried to make that comparison, and people freak out when I do it. So
that's just a fact. I don't know how you.
I mean, Thornton didn't play with the same
he wasn't
aggression.
a crazy bull in a china shop, sure, but
but you're talking about 2 really big guys with
who
unbelievable
could pass
vision
at an
and passing
unbelievable
ability.
level is
Yeah,
just
like,
insane. Yeah,
Like there were obvious comparables
Yeah.
there. It was just Peter Forsberg would also run you over and
decide he just wanted to win a game. Yeah,
tattoo his jersey onto your forehead if he felt like it. And Joe Thornton wasn't really that kind of
he
guy.
never was. He never was. But he also has the best beard in hockey. Brent Burns can suck it.
Okay.
Anyway, puck drop now like 5 minutes away. So we're going to get out of your hair. We're going to go watch this game. Hopefully it's a good one. You know you can find us back here post-game talking about whatever goes down. So we hope to see you there. And until then, we will talk to you later.